On a cargo ship navigating the seas, the crew is on high alert. Pirates are approaching on speedboats, armed and ready for a hostile takeover. The atmosphere is tense as the crew scrambles to deploy countermeasures, casting large nets into the ocean to entangle the attackers. The pirates are relentless, opening fire on the freighter. Amidst the chaos, a man in a white shirt, Leng Feng, sprints across the deck. He isn't running away. With a decisive leap, he plunges into the water, beginning a one-man counter-offensive. Beneath the waves, the battle turns into a silent, deadly ballet. One of the pirates, equipped with underwater gear, pursues Leng Feng. Firing a weapon, a projectile hits Leng Feng, but he fights through the pain, grappling with his assailant in the deep blue. The underwater struggle is brutal and desperate. The pirate tries to drown Leng Feng, but the former special ops soldier is far from helpless. He turns the tables on his attacker, using his combat training and a concealed knife to gain the upper hand. After a fierce fight, Leng Feng neutralizes the threat, leaving the pirate defeated in the depths. He surfaces, climbs aboard one of the pirate's speedboats, and takes a moment to compose himself, but the fight isn't over. He spots a pirate helicopter providing air support. Grabbing a sniper rifle from the boat, Leng Feng takes aim. With a single perfectly placed shot, he takes down the helicopter, which explodes and crashes into the sea. The immediate threat is eliminated. The story then shifts to a different kind of conflict. Back in China, a demolition crew is tearing down a house, ignoring the protests of the family. An old woman stands defiantly, saying she can't let her son come home to find his house gone. The head of the demolition crew, an arrogant man, mocks the family's resistance. At that moment, a military vehicle arrives. It is Leng Feng and his comrades, bringing home the ashes of their fallen brother, in arms, the old woman's son. The crew chief shows no respect. He taunts the soldiers, saying he'll make their lives a living hell once they're out of uniform. He glances at the grieving family and sneers. Who cares about them? His threat hangs heavy in the air, a direct insult to the memory of the fallen soldier and the honor of his comrades. The man points his gun at Leng Feng, escalating the confrontation to a dangerous level. Another officer tries to de-escalate, yelling Leng Feng's name, but it is too late. Pushed beyond his limit, Leng Feng snaps. He launches a powerful kick, sending the crew chief flying into a car windshield, severely injuring him. This act of rage leads to his imprisonment. Stripped of his uniform and rank, Leng Feng stands before his commanding officer. The officer tells him that a soldier's respect comes not from the uniform, but from the responsibilities he carries. The commander's parting words resonate deeply. You are respected. For Leng Feng, this is not just a punishment, but a redefinition of his identity. Years later, we find Leng Feng in an African country. He runs a small convenience store and has become a beloved figure in the local community, even acting as a godfather to a young boy named Tundu. He engages in a drinking contest at a beach party, easily besting the local champion. The crowd cheers for their godfather, and for a moment, life seems peaceful and joyous. It is a stark contrast to his past. But this tranquility is shattered in an instant. Explosions rock the beach, and armed rebels, the Red Turbans, storm the area. The party descends into a scene of terror and chaos as people run for their lives. Leng Feng's soldier instincts immediately take over. He grabs his godson Tundu and his friend, the shop owner, pulling them out of the line of fire. They race through the marketplace, which has turned into a brutal war zone. They take refuge in a supermarket, but the rebels storm in, executing anyone they suspect of being a government supporter. Leng Feng is forced to fight back, using his skills to disarm and neutralize several attackers to protect the civilians inside. Escaping the store, Leng Feng knows they need to find a safe haven. He yells to the terrified crowd, head for the streets. Their journey is perilous, with explosions and gunfire at every turn. Leng Feng uses his wits and a makeshift shield, made of bed springs, to protect the group from a hail of bullets, narrowly guiding them through the chaos. They encounter a squad of rebels. Leng Feng steps out, identifying them as Chinese citizens and friends of Africa. The standoff is tense, but a nearby explosion forces everyone to scatter, allowing the group to continue their escape. Finally, they reach the port where a Chinese naval fleet has arrived for evacuation, but the ambassador informs the naval commander that they cannot deploy troops into the war zone without UN authorization. Their hands are tied. The situation is dire. 47 Chinese workers are trapped in a factory 55 kilometers away, along with a vital medical expert, Dr. Chen, who is crucial to fighting a deadly local virus called Lamanla. With the military unable to act, the commander states they need one person to go in alone. Without hesitation, Leng Feng steps forward. Go Feng, he says, saluting crisply. His mission is personal too. His godson's mother works at that factory. He promises Tundu he will bring his mother back. He is given a satellite phone and sent on a solo mission with no backup, no weapons, and no allies. Meanwhile, the mercenaries, led by the ruthless Big Daddy, are also hunting for Dr. Chen. They torture an official for information, locating the doctor at the St. Francis Hospital. Big Daddy coldly executes the official after getting what he needs. Leng Feng arrives at the hospital just as the mercenaries are launching their attack. He drives his jeep straight through the wall, creating a chaotic diversion. He finds the hospital staff under siege by Big Daddy's lieutenant. Bear. In the ensuing firefight, Dr. Chen is tragically killed. Before he dies, he entrusts his work and his daughter, a young girl named Pasha, to Leng Feng. He also gives this mission to a female doctor, Rachel. Rachel, a stubborn and resourceful doctor, tries to take charge, but Leng Feng pulls her and Pasha into his jeep. A wild car chase erupts through the narrow streets of a shanty town as they flee from the mercenaries. The chase is relentless, with cars crashing through markets and over rooftops. Leng Feng's incredible driving skills are on full display as he navigates the chaotic environment, with Rachel occasionally taking the wheel. They finally escape, but their jeep is wrecked. They pass through a poverty-stricken village where the people are starving. Leng Feng and Rachel give away all their food and supplies, earning the villagers' gratitude. During the journey, Leng Feng is cut by a mercenary's knife. Rachel, an expert on the Lamana virus, warns him he could be infected. Leng Feng dismisses it, focused on getting to the Hambang factory. Back at the mercenary base, Big Daddy is furious that Dr. Chen is dead. He screams in rage, however. His analyst identifies Leng Feng from security footage as a wolf warrior, piquing Big Daddy's interest. Leng Feng, Rachel, and Pasha finally arrive at the Hambang factory. They are met with suspicion by the security chief, a retired veteran named He Jiangguo, and the factory manager, who are skeptical that one man can save them. However, Tundu's mother, Nessa, recognizes Leng Feng's name and vouches for him, breaking the tension. They are welcomed inside, where Leng Feng learns a UN rescue helicopter is coming, but it can only take a few people. The manager decides to evacuate only the Chinese workers, leaving their African colleagues behind. Leng Feng steps in, declaring that everyone will leave together, no one left behind. His decision unites the factory. Later that night, there is a moment of peace. The workers, both Chinese and African, share a meal and celebrate. Leng Feng bonds with the veteran He Jiangguo, sharing stories of their military past. Rachel confronts Leng Feng about his fascination with war, pointing out the human cost. She shows him a picture of Pasha's father, killed by the same kind of weapons he finds exciting, forcing him to reflect. The peace is short-lived. Big Daddy's forces, having tracked them, launch a full-scale assault on the factory. The attack begins with a sniper shot, killing one of the workers during their celebration. The factory erupts into a battlefield. Drones armed with machine guns strafe the area. Leng Feng, He Jiangguo, and the others fight back with everything they have, trying to protect the civilians huddled in the workshop. Leng Feng manages to shoot down a drone with a well-aimed shot, but the mercenaries are overwhelming. Big Daddy gives the order to his top sniper, Athena, to take out the veteran, He Jiangguo. He Jiangguo fights bravely, but is eventually cornered and killed. Leng Feng is devastated but must continue the fight. During a close-quarters battle, he is stabbed and becomes infected with the Lamana virus. The mercenaries breach the factory defenses. Just as they are about to capture Pasha, Leng Feng uses a fire hose to disrupt their drone surveillance and fights them off, but the virus is beginning to take hold. He collapses from the infection. When the other survivors realize he has Lamana, they panic, wanting to cast him out. Rachel furiously defends him, reminding them, don't abandon him. Rachel and Pasha take Leng Feng to a hidden cave. Rachel reveals Pasha isn't Dr. Chen's daughter, but a patient who is the only known person with natural immunity. She uses Pasha's blood to create an experimental cure. She injects the unproven serum into Leng Feng. It is a huge gamble, but it is his only chance. Miraculously, he survives. The cure works. Now, he understands why the mercenaries want Pasha so badly. Control of the cure means control of the country. They return to the factory to find the remaining workers captured by the mercenaries. The young manager, who had been a coward, stands up to Big Daddy to protect his people, sacrificing himself in the process. Leng Feng frees the workers and arms them. He tells Rachel that her hands are for saving people, not killing. As he prepares them for a final stand, he asks the factory manager, "Are you ready to fight?" They launch a counter-attack, but the mercenaries have tanks. The battle escalates into armored warfare. Leng Feng and another worker commandeer a tank, leading to a spectacular and destructive tank duel inside the factory complex. They manage to destroy one enemy tank, but run out of ammo. In a daring move, Leng Feng uses the tank's armor and the factory's industrial equipment to disable the final enemy tank, forcing Big Daddy and his men out into the open. As the ground battle rages, Leng Feng uses his phone to broadcast the atrocities live. The Chinese naval fleet receives the video, with evidence of a massacre and a formal request from the local government. The commander gives the order, fire. Missiles rain down from the sky, decimating the mercenary forces and their tanks. The tide of the battle turns dramatically. In the aftermath, only Big Daddy and a few of his men are left. The confrontation becomes personal. Leng Feng faces off against Big Daddy. During the fight, Big Daddy reveals the bullet pendant he wears. It is the one that killed Leng Feng's fiancée, Long Xiaoyong. He was the killer. Big Daddy viciously taunts Leng Feng. Fueled by grief and righteous fury, Leng Feng summons his remaining strength for one final assault. He overpowers the mercenary leader as he holds a knife to his throat. Big Daddy's racist taunts are his last words. Leng Feng ends him, looks down at the body, and declares, "Let history remember this." With the battle won, Leng Feng leads the convoy of survivors out of the factory. They encounter a government checkpoint in a war-torn area, with both sides ready to fire. It is a tense standoff. Leng Feng takes a Chinese flag and wraps it around his arm, holding it high. He drives the lead truck forward. Seeing the flag, the soldiers on both sides hesitate, then lower their weapons, shouting to their comrades, "Don't fire." The convoy passes safely through the conflict zone, a testament to the respect the flag commands. They reach the UN camp, their ordeal finally over. The film ends on a shot of a Chinese passport. A message appears on screen. When you encounter danger in a foreign land, do not give up. Please remember, at your back, you have a powerful motherland. But a final scene reveals Leng Feng on vacation. He receives a call from his old commander. A video plays, showing his fiancée, Long Xiaoyun, being dragged away by armed men. She is still alive, setting the stage for his next mission.